How's it going, everybody? Alright, so I watched the first video. I got some likes, I got some subscriptions. I guess we'll jump right in. Today I wanted to talk about character and what that means as far as a haunt goes. With every single person that works at a haunted house, you've got to have a character backstory. I mean, you don't have to. You can jump right into working at a haunt, and I mean, anybody can do it. You jump right in, you start scaring people, you have a great time, you go home, you do it again next weekend. When you're in it for many years, you start to develop a profile for your character. And when I referred to Sinister as my alter ego yesterday, I meant that completely. I've been using different names, different masks, but the same personality for 4 different clowns over the course of 8 years. So I've developed a when you put the mask on, you develop a alter ego or a different personality that goes along with said character at the haunt. So in my case, it is a clown. In typical, just everyday life, I'm a bit of a smartass. My clown is even more so. I worked very hard to come up with how I wanted to portray him and how I wanted people to react to him. Everything from the voice to the costume to just everything that makes Sinister sinister. So the best place I would think to start would be probably with your outfit, or what mask you pick individually, or the color scheme you want to go with. See, originally my first clown, Trippy, was a jester, and he had black and green checkered clothing with the jester headpiece. And it was a great mask. It was a great costume. Everybody seemed to enjoy it, but I wanted something different. So I used him for about 2 years. On from there, I went to another jester, which had bells on the horns. Instead of headpiece, they were horns. And I worked with him, and I called him Jingle Jangle. And Jingles was, again, it was a good clown, but I couldn't really get the reactions that I wanted. So then I went for another one I called Mr. Smiles, the one I mentioned yesterday that was only a half mask. You'll probably see him again, like I said, in a couple of upcoming videos. I actually gave him to a buddy of mine who had been volunteering in our haunt, and so he's got him currently. And I'm going to have him bring him up here and do some videos with him and let y'all see kind of how it's evolved, and I'll see if I can't drag down some of my other outfits, my older stuff as well. But then after Mr. Smiles, I actually ended up with Sinister. And this is the outfit and the persona that I'll be keeping probably for quite some time. I love everything about the reactions that people give him and the just the looks that he gets. I thoroughly enjoy his character. And I guess I can start at the beginning here. The best way to do this is to play around with how you want your character to be seen. A good way to start would be with voices. Now, when you start doing a haunt, it gets kind of embarrassing to start trying different voices and try and figure out how you want your character to sound, how you want him to look, how you want him to walk, and that's completely normal. A lot of people, when they first start the haunts, they're like, oh man, do I really need to do this? That sounds kind of embarrassing. I don't want people to laugh at me. Well, that's the best part about it. Go ahead, let them laugh. They'll get scared further on. They'll be gone in just a couple of minutes after they get through with the haunt. You don't have to deal with it. Try it out on the next group. See what works for you. That's the best advice I can give you. Make it work for you. Just because a voice or an action or something works for one person doesn't mean it's going to work for you, and vice versa. So what you want to do is test different types of voices. Back when I very first started with Trippy, the clown, I had one set of, I think, 3 different phrases that I used. Everything from, don't you just love clowns, to, oh man, I can't even remember them. And so I started expanding with my vocabulary as far as things that people didn't like to hear, and creepy compliments. You can actually go online and find phrases that just make your skin crawl. One of which that I know for sure we actually had at one of our previous haunt meetings was, "Boy, you sure smell different when you're awake." And see, that just, no, that's not cool. But it gives people that feeling that of oh my God, what is he talking about? So and that's a whole nother option to coming up with your clown. Do you want it to be scary phrases? Do you want it to be uncomfortable? Do you want it to give them that feeling like, man, I don't want to get stuck in an elevator with this guy? There's tons of different ways that you can do your character. So after you come up with how you want this character to be portrayed, do you want it to be a clown? Do you want it to be a zombie? Do you want it to be one of those sensory things that has the eye slits and the big teeth and doesn't necessarily have facial features? I mean, there's hundreds of different options when it comes to what you want to incorporate in your haunt. So after you come up with that, then you want to go look at outfits. Well, I'm a color scheme person. I love color schemes. So with him being red, white, and black, I figured, okay, I'll build a costume off of something more black and white. That way, to make the red hair stand out and the nose and all of his different features. So I came up with the one suit that you saw in yesterday's episode with the 3 buttons, and that worked for the last 2 years. And this year, I'm deciding to go a different style. I'm not going to get political, but since it is election year, and I'm a huge fan of the Purge movies, I decided, you know what, we're going to go election-style clown Purge. So, after I get the full outfit and everything comes in, hopefully soon with all this COVID-19 and everything going on, hopefully I'll get my items in the mail pretty soon, and I can give y'all a sneak peek at what he's going to look like this year. And once the haunted house actually starts up, I'll have first-person video and videos from inside the haunt, give you a little bit of a tour, show you how the clown room works. You'll see plenty of setup, how we begin to get everything set up, weapons, making sure they're good enough to speed. I make all of my own personal weapons. Most of them are very real, and you'll see that in upcoming videos. So back to the character. After you come up with the outfit and the voice and how you want it portrayed, you want to figure out a good walk. See, my thing is I walk hunched. You got different styles depending on your type of how you want to, like I said, portray yourself. So you can have the up, more almost dominant type feature, and people don't like that because you come walking up on them with your chest puffed out and your shoulders and your head held high. It makes them very uncomfortable. My thing is more of a hunched walk that I like to do, and I've got slow movements, except when I'm trying to scare somebody. Then I'll give them the jerk movement, and that makes them jump pretty often. That's usually when I'm in the lobby. I like to go into the lobby pretty often and mess with the customers before they ever get inside, just to give them a little bit of just a taste of what they're going to get inside. And once they're in there, it's fair game. Over the last 2 years, I've adapted a bullhorn, which I use, and after coming up with the correct set of different phrases and being able to speak more fluently as Sinister, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with it. So I've got, I'll be sitting there just throughout the day, and I'll think, hey, that's a good phrase. I'm going to use that, and then I'll test it. They laugh, they laugh. If they get scared, job well done. So, when I bring somebody on in the next 2 weeks, hopefully this week I'll actually have one of our other haunters as a guest here on my video, and he's actually a severed head goat character. He's another one of our board members, and he does his own show in his room. Usually it's an outdoor scene. It's pretty freaky to see, actually, and we'll have him on here, let him tell you a little bit about his character. But developing a character in its own is totally dependent on the person. If you're not comfortable with it, then it's not going to come out well. Again, with Sinister, I've worked on him, I've worked with phrases, I've worked with how people react to the things that he says. And when I refer to him as he, I mean, we are 2 entirely different people. Like I said, I'm a smartass. It happens. He's way worse. So you want to not necessarily push your behaviors onto your character, but make them two entirely separate characters. I think the best way to do that would be to, as weird as it sounds, practice in the mirror. See what sounds good. Throw your mask on, turn the light off, and just play with it. Play with the voice, play with the way it sounds, develop your character voice. Now, a lot of you are thinking, oh, I've already got my character voice. I don't know why this is so important. Because people don't like it when you're comfortable with something, because it sounds too perfect, if that makes any sense. So, over the years, I started messing with, like I said again, the bullhorn. And now I'll get out into the lobby and I'll start yelling at people. And they don't like that. I'll mock the way they look. I'll mock the way they act. If someone tells me they're going to hit me, go ahead, hit me. See what happens. I'll get you in a minute when you get to my room. I threaten them with that a lot, and I'll usually have the other clowns block them off, and I'll give them quite the run for their money once they get into the clown room. Of course, that's for a whole nother video. I'm actually planning on doing that one in a week or two. Is going to be no abuse toward haunted house workers. I cannot stress that enough. You are literally paying us to scare you. And you want to come in there with the mentality that you're going to hit people, it's not going to fly. Not only will you leave in handcuffs, but we've got your money, and we don't give out refunds. Again, that's a totally different video. There was my PSA for this one. But just build a character. If anybody has any questions, feel free to comment. Ask me some questions. I've been, again, working on him for many years. 8 years, 4 different clowns, but the same persona. So, like I said, any questions, just holler at me, like, comment, subscribe, see what you think of the upcoming videos. I'm going to have a guest on here. We call him Gilly Goat. I'll have him on here pretty quick. He's super excited to be on here. And after that, I'll have some other clowns and some of the other haunted house characters, and we'll see where it goes. Thank y'all so much for watching. Stay spooky.